We're going to take a look at a couple of oil stocks in here. Then we're going to look at some ETFs. But overall, we're going to look at a couple individuals. First, we're looking at Exxon here on the weekly chart. You can see ever since that big pop that we had once we started the war in Iran, Operation Epic Fury, it seems like after that big spike that we had with that beginning of the war, we have finally reverted back to the mean. We're actually trading lower than where we were last or at the end of last week. So we're trading below the 150. We're below this trend line right here. We're going to see if we can reach back above and hold that, but everything is extremely overbought in here. Look for some more reverting back to the mean in here. And this 145 could be on deck sooner than that 155 area, which is where we were here at the end of a couple days ago, right? So we're going to see what happens in here overall in Exxon. But again, 145, then below that, we're looking at this 9-day EMA to the upside, that 155, and then we're looking up here at that 159 area. We're going to take a look at Chevron next. Your expected move in here for Chevron is going to be right around a $3 expected move priced in by this coming Friday. So you got a few more trading sessions in here. You can see we basically made it to the apex of this overall structure in here. Even if you were just not even looking at what happened in the world this past week, you go, oh, okay, yeah, we're due for a pullback. Obviously, a big jump in here, hit that upper trend line, reverted back to the mean, actually trading below where we closed last week again. So two main oil companies in here actually trading basically lower than when the war even started over in the Middle East. So we're going to see how these two things, two stocks start shaking things out in here as this overall war continues. In here, we're currently trading at 186. We're going to be looking at the 182 on the downside. Then we have that 177, the 9-day EMA. To the upside in here, we're going to be worrying about that 188 level. And then we're looking at the 191 up here, which is going to be where our upper trend line is. As far as our ETFs, we're going to take a look at USO really quick. Now, it's good to note that Chevron and Exxon have both pulled back and reverted back to their mean to where they were last week. But it's good to note in here that these ETFs are actually trading higher and staying higher. So you can see we had a green day in here up around 1.5%, trading at 91.56. To the upside in here, we're looking at that 91.97 level. And then above there, that 94. To the downside in here, we're going to take a look at that 90. And then we're looking at that 87 level in USO. We're going to also take a look at XOP since we are in here looking at ETFs having to do with oil. And you can see overall, we're trading in this 160. Again, kind of the same thing, a gap up, everything's still green. We're green on the day, up by 1%, but that's all we've been doing, right? So not necessarily a big pullback in here, not necessarily a huge spike, and then just a gap and go, right? So we're still hanging out in here, still holding. So let's see what happens with these ETFs as we start to kind of work our way throughout this war. So everything is kind of on edge right now, right? But overall, technically, everything, all of these are looking RSI overbought. Our ETFs are hanging on in here up by a thread, while our basically main two players in the oil field, Chevron and Exxon, have both reverted back to the mean with RSI still overbought. So let's see what happens in here as we continue out the week. But XOP, the levels that we're going to be looking at in here, 161, 162 to the downside, 159. And then we're looking at here at the 155 with a $4 expected move priced in by this Friday. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this war plays out, especially in the coming weeks. But again, this is what the oil is telling us. We're looking at how this correlates with the overall markets. We thought maybe a larger market pullback would happen. It looks like we keep bouncing off those low 672s. Let's see if that holds. Let's see if our oil is going to start to correlate as we come back down when we're reverting back to our means overall. And then let's see our volatility, how that is reacting as well. So overall, we will take what we can get and we will play this accordingly. So let's see what happens with the overall markets in the war. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.